Hello everyone, I'm Devlogerio and this is the quickest .io game development tutorial currently on YouTube.
In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create a very simple but functional .io game.
Just like the one you see on the screen. But I have 4 instances of it at the same time open so we can see the multiplayer aspect of it working as well. Let's see. I click on the first one, I can go left, right, up and down. I can move around. Okay, I can move this one, I can move on the bottom right one, okay, this one as well, just like that. And I can actually say, oh, I'm going outside the map. I'm actually going to close one of them so everyone else will see him leave. Close this one, everyone see him leave. So as I said, a working and functional game. This is not going to be an in-depth JavaScript or Node.js programming coding tutorial. We're going to go as fast as we can, but bear in mind, this is not an end. This is just a beginning of how to make .io games. After this video, there's going to be more and more. We're gonna add so much to this game. This is gonna look a very fantastic and awesome game. After a few days, weeks or months, we're gonna add more and more to it. But the next video is going to be a super in-depth JavaScript tutorial where I teach you everything about variables, functions and all, so don't worry about it. Just create your first game, make sure it's working on your computer, read the comments, watch my video a few times, and then for the next video we're gonna talk in depth and we're gonna be able to understand everything together. All right, let's begin. Subscribe to my channel for more. First part is tools and technologies. Let's have a look. These are all the tools and technologies that we are going to use in this project, and the only two that requires to be downloaded are Visual Studio Code and Node.js. So let's go ahead and install those real quick. I just go to Chrome. There we go. And search for the name, Node.js. Easy. The first website that pops up. I'm gonna download it and open the file. Accept, next, next, next. Fairly easy. Just click on this. Make sure this is ticked. Automatically install with whatever is necessary. So with next, install, yes. And this is it for Node.js. Now we can't close this. We need to go to Visual Studio Code. Let's download this one as well. On their first page, they have the download button. So we just click on it. Okay, open, accept, next, 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 and there we go. And that's for it. I don't want it to be launched for now. And that's it. Part 2 is the folder structure and general structure of the project. Let's have a look. Okay, this is how our project folder structure is going to be. Basically, we have one parent folder that contains a server folder and a client folder. Okay, and we put this the general project folder inside our server computer. It can be our own computer, it can be something over the internet, like a cloud server. Okay, and then we have this client folder, right? Any player who connects to the server, okay, basically server will send them a copy of the client folder. That's it. So we will host all our project folder in the server side, okay, nothing on the client side, right, for now. But the moment they get connected, for example, they put the name of our website in the Google Chrome, the server will automatically send them a client folder. Okay, so they will have access to client folder, and each client who gets connected to the server, they will have a copy of client folder for themselves. Okay, and this connection between server and client is happening through something called socket.io. Okay, so we're using socket.io to make this connection possible. All right, basically it's helping us to have a real-time connection, something like WhatsApp or online games that you play. Okay, you can send and receive at the same time. So that happens using socket.io. It's fairly simple. By the way, By clients, I mean player computers, right? Or player device that they get connected to our server. It can be anything. Anyways, that's it all. But there is one important thing that we should think about here. Any piece of code that we have on the server side, okay, it's uncheatable. It's basically like anti-cheat. If you want something to be anti-cheat, nobody can touch it, okay? Like a variable, it can be like, for example, the speed of the character is 100 meters per minute. Okay, you don't want the players to have god mode speed, right? So you put the logic on the server side. That's it. If you want to write the code for the speed, you just put it on the server side. Easy as that. But if you have it on the client side, since clients will have a copy of this file, they can manipulate it and they can change the value from 100 to 1000 and they get super speed, which you don't want to happen, right? Anyway, so it's cheatable if you have your logic on the client side. That's it. Now let's create the folders. Okay, you just create a new folder and you name it the name of your game, of course. I'm gonna name it Tank. And you just open it. There we go. It's an empty folder, of course. And I need two more folders, right? One of them is gonna be the server. And the other one is going to be a client. That's it. And there is two more things we need to do because this won't work by itself, okay? We need to go to server folder and we need to create a file, a text file. And we need to name it server.js. Okay, it will prompt you something, just say yes, and that's it. By the way, if you cannot change the type of your file, okay, make sure you click on view, and then you have show file name extensions on. Okay, make sure you have this on. You have it on, and then you name the project server.js. That's it. And then you go back once. Now we go to our client folder. We create a new file here. And I'm gonna call it index.html. Another prompt. Make sure your view show. Why is it not? Okay, view show file name extensions is on. All right, so you're gonna have two files over there, and that's it. That's it. Let's get to coding. This is great. Now let's get the server up and running. Before we jump into the game logic and visuals, we need to create a code template. A code template that's responsible for running the server and client and make sure the two are connected without any errors. This code template is gonna be used by any future project, .io game project that we have as well, so make sure you copy and paste it somewhere safe so you can duplicate it as you wish. Now, let's go ahead and do it real quick. You just find your project folder, right click on it, show more options, and then open with code. Now, in the code, we have two files, okay? One of them is server.js, which is inside the server folder. The other one is index.html. I'm gonna go ahead and open server.js for now. And here, I'm gonna write my Node.js language code, which is the same as JavaScript, but it's on the server side. Now, what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna copy and paste pieces of code. You are going to pause the video and write the same and type the same thing in your computer, okay, so that you learn more. This is a 30 minutes video where you're not gonna care about what these pieces of code do. You just want to get to the logic part, right? Even I don't care. So let's do it real quick. This piece of code is responsible for importing libraries. Libraries are pieces of code made by other people. So code and technology that are made by other people are packaged into libraries so you can use in your project as well. Two of these requires installation by us, which we will do in a moment. Express, and Socket.io. We will do that in a second, and the rest of them are predefined by the Node.js itself, so we don't need to do anything for those as well. And these green lines of code are these are comments, so they're not getting executed by the computer. They're only for you and your knowledge. All right, the other piece of code that we have here is gonna be this one. This guy is gonna say, whenever someone connects to our game, the first page they see, what is it? It's gonna be the index.html file that we just created. So that's gonna be the main game that we have. That's the visualization. That's where the visualization and logic of our game is gonna happen. Yeah. The other piece of code is gonna be this one. Notice you don't need to care what they do in depth, okay? Just understand the general idea of it. This is gonna make the server to begin working on port 2000. Why 2000? Because we may have 3 servers at the same time running. They cannot have the same port, okay? Each of them should have a different port, otherwise they collide and they're gonna throw errors. All right, and how can we access our game? If the port is 2000, we need to write localhost 2000 like this. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. Yeah, whenever you go to your browser, let's say Google Chrome, and type localhost 2000, it's gonna basically open our game. Basically, it is going to open index.html file. It's gonna happen like this. Anyways, last but not least is going to be our socket, our socket.io piece of code. This is gonna make the game look fluent. This is where sending and receiving information from client computer, player computer, and the server computer is gonna happen. Okay, basically this is the connection. Whenever a player connects to the server, this piece of code comes into action, and it's gonna log something in the terminal down here. If you don't have the terminal open, don't worry. You just need to find this blue bar underneath the Visual Studio Code. Find the barrier, the line, the edge. When you bring your mouse on it, your cursor will be changed. Drag and drop it up. You'll see the terminal or the console here. Click on terminal. Make sure you're on the terminal, okay? So on the terminal, you can see these logs, all right? So these logs are for us developers to see in the command prompt whenever the computer executes this line of code. Computer executes the lines of code one by one from 1 all the way down to however number of lines of code that we have. Anywhere, whenever a player gets connected, this piece of code is gonna be called, and whenever a player is disconnected, this piece of code is gonna be called. Easy as that. Now, remember the things that I said we need to install, Socket.io and Express. This is how we install. So in the terminal, you need to write npm install Express. That's it. Oh, I accidentally hit a backslash. I don't need that. Press enter without the backslash, by the way. npm install Express. Just wait. Done. The next one is npm install socket.io. I installed this one as well. Real quick and easy. That's for that. Done. Now I need to test my server. How can I run the server? I just need to type node, the name of my server. What is the name of my server? I actually need to give it the path. Notice that whenever we install those two things, a bunch of things are being added to our project folder, which we don't care. We never open them. We never care. Even in 100 years, we don't care. So inside server folder, we have the server.js file, right? So all I need to do is to say node my server folder / server.js. Make sure you have you care about upper and lower case as well. I press enter. We have an error in the project. It's saying the error is on line 12 in my server.js. So where is line 12? It basically says something over here. Yes, I forgot to put 2 underlines over here as well, you like that. All right, underline, underline, tire name. Nobody gives a shit about this anymore. You only use it once in your lifetime. It's here, it's the template. Now I'm gonna test again. If I click in the console terminal and I press arrow key up, it's gonna basically show me the last command that I had, last few commands I had. I can scroll through them using up and down arrow keys. So I press enter again. Now my server is up on port 2000. Why this is happening? It's because here I said console log it whenever server is running. All right, that's it for the server side. Let's jump into the client side. Open the client folder, client HTML, and here we're gonna have this piece of code. Super easy. I'm gonna make it smaller for you so you can see. All right, there we go. I don't need a terminal for this one. So this is the piece of code that you need to write in your client side. Make sure you hit Control S for both of these files. Just click on the file, hold Control and press S, so you save this one and you save this one as well. Okay, and then here in the header tag, this is on the client side. We have HTML over here. So these are all HTML tags to create user interface for your game. All right. And in the middle of HTML tag, we have a script tag where you write your JavaScript code, the logic. All right. What's happening here? This title is gonna be the name of your project. I just named it tank. And here is gonna be the canvas. This is basically the screen of your game. How big is your game? How big your game is gonna be shown on the screen? Is it gonna take the full screen or something like that? So this is gonna be the canvas, basically how you draw stuff like 3D. It can be 3D, it can be 2D happening in your canvas. This is the socket.io library that we are using for the connection. Okay, so we're gonna use the socket.io library on the client side as well. Okay, so this is how you import a library in client side. You just need to go to their website, socket.io website, and find this code over there. So for any library, you can do that. Anyways, we have a script tag here, which inside I have a line of JavaScript code. So basically here, we're going to write any line of code that we want to have on the client side. And that's it. That's it for our template. By the way, this line of code, it basically starts the client socket. It basically says, okay, now connect to the server using socket.io. Do it now. And I'm gonna test the server again. In order to pause the server, you just hold Control and press C. So Control C will stop the server from running, because whenever you change your code, you need to stop and start the server again. Basically means that you have to restart the server, otherwise your code will not apply. You have to save and you have to restart the server. If you didn't do these two things, save the file, then restart the server, then it will not work, okay? So I restart the server. Server is up on port 2000. Let's test it on a client folder. Just basically on the client side, just basically open your browser and search for localhost, the port you had. It was 2000, right? It can be 3000, it can be 5000. I have it on 2000. It's just a test, it's okay. Nobody cares. It's not a big deal. I just have it on localhost 2000. Press enter. Notice that I have a white screen and up there it says tank. It means that we are successfully connected. Also in my terminal in Visual Studio Code, it says a user connected. Let's see if the disconnection also works. I just close it. User disconnected. So perfect, it is working. Now let's jump into the logic and visuals of the stuff. If you made it this far, my guy, you're already a legend. Now let's make that little rectangle visualize and apply the movement logic. Alright, creating logic and visualization just to begin is fairly simple. I'm gonna do that real quick for you so you can see. The first and most important thing you need to know is that you have to stop your server. So click on your terminal, Control C to stop the server from working. This is very important. Go to your client side. So you can click on your client file, index.html, and in the script code we need to write a little bit of a script here, JavaScript code. Okay, but before that I would like to have my canvas as a bigger thing. Okay, so I want to give it some style. Okay, you don't need it's just the size of the canvas. You'll see how it looks after it's drawn, after the project is working. Yeah, so I'm gonna say width is maybe 1000 by the height of 1000, or maybe it's too big. I can even change it if I want to. And then in the as the scripts, okay, for JavaScript code, I have this line of code to begin with. All right, so basically what I do here is that I gain access to my canvas, to the canvas that I created here in HTML5. I gain access to that HTML canvas tag in JavaScript over here. Okay, and I just name it. This one is accessing to the Canva itself. This one is accessing to the 2D context of that Canva. So I can draw stuff in a 2D world in it. You can do it 3D if you want to. The other piece of code is this. Okay, this one is also fairly simple piece of code. So here I listen to keyboard buttons. Okay, so whenever a key is pressed, okay, we are going to send some information to the server side. So whenever arrow key up is pressed, we're gonna send over using socket, we're gonna send something, an information, some data to the server over a line. So this is how a socket IO works. In socket IO we have lines. Okay, just the same way you have a phone number, like your contact number, it's different with someone else, right? So a client and server, they can communicate using multiple lines. Okay, so first line that we are going to use to communicate with server is the move line. All right, it's basically like a phone number, think it like that. And this is the data that we are going to say. We are basically asking the server to we are basically sending this information to the server side. We are saying x of 0 and y of -1 because it's arrow key up. By the way, in computer graphics, when it comes to HTML canvas, going up is y minus and going down is y plus. It's like up is minus, down is plus. It's something like, it's weird, but it is what it is. That's how it's working in internet world. As we go down, the number goes higher. Anyways, so we say y -1. For the arrow key down should be y +1. For the arrow left, x -1, and for arrow right, x +1. All right, and that's it for the client side for now. Make sure you hold Control and press S, or go to File and save. Okay, this is very important. Now, on the server side, we need a few lines of code there to match our client side, because remember, client is sending information to the server. The first thing we need is a little database. So I'm gonna go right above my IO connection. I'm gonna create a little database of my players. Any player who connects to the server, okay, their information is going to be saved in a little variable called players. Okay, so this guy over here is going to keep hold of all the present players in the entire game. All right, and then inside my code, for every single player that gets connected to the server, I say, okay, a user connected, yes, but after that I'm gonna say, I'm gonna create that player and I'm gonna save his information in my database, okay, which is here. How does that happen? Okay, I create a player here. This is my player. My player is very small. My player only has an X and a Y. No more information. This is the only information a player needs right now. Okay, because we're going to move it around. Okay, there is another thing. This player has an ID as well. Okay, we're gonna use the ID that Socket will provide us, because Socket will give us a unique ID for each person who gets connected over the internet. So it's basically like the IP address. So we create a player. We say, okay, our player has an X and Y, and its ID is something random. All right, and we save this information into the database of players that we have. Easy as that. You don't need to go crazy about it. It's just, it is what it is. Okay, after that, remember we were sending information over a line called move. Yeah, okay, now we need to listen to that data that's coming to the server, right? So on the server side, we just say socket.onMove. Now here we listen. We listen to the information, to the data that's coming from the client side. So let me go to the client side and see. Here we were saying socket.emit, which we were sending the data. Here we say socket.on, which means we are listening for data that's coming to us. All right, and what kind of data is coming to us here? The data is coming inside this data thinking over here, and we basically find that player in the database of players. Okay, we find it and we get its X. Okay, and we just add the number, the X and Y number that we received from the data from the client side to the data on the database that we have over here. Don't go crazy about it. We will go in depth in later videos again and again, so you will master all the information over here. Okay, this project is only to keep you up as fast as possible to the game industry right now. The next piece of code that we are going to have is to go back to our client. Okay, no, sorry, this is left here. Okay, after our IO connection, we need to have this piece of code over here. This is basically our tick function. So in our tick function, we basically say every second this function is going to be called, but this is not a normal interval. Okay, this means every 30 times a second. Yeah, so 30 times a second. Notice if we have something called a frame rate. This is frame rate of the game. How smooth you want your game to feel. How fast do you, how many times do you want the server to send information to the clients? Maybe you have a slow internet, or maybe you have thousands of players where you need to optimize your game, so you need to send less information per second because you have so many people and your internet is slow. So you come here and you lower it, or you want your game to feel smoother, maybe 60 FPS or something. So you bring it to 60 and you match it to the client. Okay, this is that one. All right, so I have a function frame rate here. Okay, sorry, set interval function, which is my FPS, a frame rate function, and 30 times a second. I'm saying io.emit. It means send everyone, any player that is connected to the server right now, send them this information. What kind of information? Send them the whole database of players. So I'm sending the whole database of players to each and every single player in the game currently. Okay, over the phone line called state. That's it. Now I'm gonna save this, Control S or file save. Okay, go back to my client, and here we need to listen to that state, right? So for every emit there is a listen. Okay, and this is going to be the code for our for the information that's coming from the server. It's basic and simple. The moment the client receives data over the state line, of socket.io. Okay, so socket.on state, simple. What do? We draw a it's just like paint. Okay, in our canvas, this is our canvas. We draw a rectangle as big as the size of the canvas itself. Okay, we create a rectangle, and it basically means clear rect. It means it's white. We clear everything on the screen, and then we loop through the database of every player that we have. Okay, so every single player that's in the game, we loop through them one by one, and per person, per player, okay, we draw a rectangle with the size of 10 and the x and y that we just received from the server. I know it's weird right now, but don't worry, just bear with me. I'm gonna save this, okay, and don't care about this line. This line does nothing. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this one as well. Control S. Make sure you go to your terminal. Control S. Make sure the server is not working, and then type node server/server.js, or just place up arrow key. Press enter. Server is running. Hopefully no errors yet. Okay. I go here. I'm gonna search for localhost 2000. You see that? You see there is a rectangle on the top left of the screen. I'm gonna press arrow key right. It's moving. Press arrow key down. It's moving. Yo, you see what I'm saying here? It's moving. Okay, now I'm gonna create another one of these. Okay, I'm gonna open another one. I'm gonna go to localhost again. Look, there is another player, and when I move this player, the other one will see. You see what I'm saying? I can have another player. Holy shit, this is amazing already. Okay, I'm gonna go down, right, left. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? Now, let's see if one of them gets disconnected. Nobody will find out about the disconnection of one of them. Why not? Let's fix that real quick. So I'm gonna close all of them. I'm gonna close my server using Control C. Okay, and what we need to do is to bring this. We need to go to our server. Okay, and we need to find the disconnect function. And after a console log, we're gonna say delete player socket.id. So the moment someone gets disconnected, he's going to get removed from the database of players. Okay, now let's save. Let's check again. I'm gonna go back here. Localhost 2000. That's one player. Okay, that is gonna be another player. Let's see. So 2 players working. Okay, if I click on this one and move this one to the right, it's working. I'm gonna have a third one as well. Duplicate this guy. Yeah, everybody can see it. And what if this guy gets disconnected? It gets disconnected. Everybody can see him go away. This one, everybody sees him go away, and this one goes away, and everybody is disconnected. Now, one thing that I need to mention: if you go to index.html, notice that in your code you have add event listener key down, right? So you're listening to any button that the client press, right? If you want to change these, you have it's called JavaScript. I'm gonna type it here for you. JavaScript event code. Okay, event key code. Sorry. So what I did here is just I searched JavaScript event key codes on Google, and the first website I see, I just open it. Okay, it's really awesome. You can press any code you want. Maybe you, instead of up and down arrow keys, you want W and S A D, something like that. Okay, so I just press W S A D. It gives me the code. So I press W. It says event code. This is what we want. Is key W. Okay, W event code. I just double click on it or right click on it and copy it. Okay, and I bring it here. that key up, and probably this is key down, this is key left, and this is key right. I'm gonna save, stop and start again because WASD feels better, right? I'm gonna go to localhost that I had. No, it's not working. It's not working. For some reason it isn't working. It's event.key. You see what I'm saying? We were doing event.key is WSDA. Oh my god, this was wrong. So we need to care about event.key. Yeah. WSAD. I don't know if it should be uppercase or lowercase. We test. Oh, sorry. I need. Okay. Yeah, it's working now. Fairly easy. Yeah, and this is it. We successfully created our first working .io game. Okay, this is amazing. You're in a good spot now. Please watch the next video. We're gonna dive deep into all the pieces of code you see here one by one and see what happened. We're going to understand about everything about JavaScript and Node.js, HTML. We're gonna go through everything one by one. So this video was just get you up and running as fast as possible in less than 30 minutes, okay? Now that you know everything, now that you have your game ready, keep hold of it, try to play around with it, because in the next video we're gonna go crazy and we're gonna try to understand every single part of it. And matter of fact, after that we're gonna make it look amazing. Okay, I'll leave you all now. Thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I see you guys around. Thank you very much for being around. For now, peace.